Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Ouch! Ouch! That hurt. Come on. Right, today we're going to be talking about negative customer feedback or online reviews. How are you going, my Internet Explorer? Yes, that's the new name we've given to our audience with the Online Prosperity Experience. And today we're going to be talking about the things you need to do. I better laugh and get it out of the way. Things you need to do in order to deal with negative reviews or negative feedback. I can understand. Okay, I mean, obviously nobody wants any negative feedback or any reviews. We want a 5 out of 5 Google rating, or we want a 7 out of, I don't know what you use for your online reviews. But let me tell you something. We're dealing with people out there. If you're an avid Internet Explorer and you are not ruffling any feathers out there, then I don't think you're doing enough. Okay, because the magic of, the internet is proximity. People feel like they're close to you and they can tell you whatever they feel like, depending on how they feel like, and the magic of maybe social media or websites, lies in the fact that we've got direct communication with our audience. That is well and good when we want to sell them stuff and, that they can communicate with us in real time too. But however, this very factor can also be a challenge when it comes to dealing with negative feedback or reviews. I mean, there's industries and there's systems, tools, and processes to cater with how to handle negative reviews. And today I'm going to just give you a bit of a rundown, of how we handle it. I mean, last week, I kid you not, some person who I think must have just been going through stuff. I mean, I can understand. It's post-COVID. Anything can happen. They left us a review on our page, citing that, we are writing to them constant emails and how they can't trust a marketing agency that resorts to writing a lot of emails to people. And then I was like, oh, wait, maybe this is there's merit in this feedback. So I went in and looked at the guy and I noticed, wait a minute, this person actually downloaded some of our stuff and they are opening most of our emails. And the system that we use for email marketing basically works with those that are responsive. So the more you respond, the more you get to hear from us. We are not in the business of wanting to spam people. It's actually bad, for us, and also it wastes everybody else's time, because if somebody's not interested in the work that you're putting out there, then why would you want to constantly drag them through a bed of nails, okay, so to speak? So I went in and I just really checked out this guy, and then I started noticing, wait a minute, this guy has a reputation of posting bad reviews. So I'm like, wait a minute, okay, so I'm noticing a trend here. To other people, he's just like, yeah, you're spamming me. To other people, he's like, I don't trust people that just write things like this. And I'm like, what's up with this guy? Why is he the only one who seems to be being dealt, a bad hand here? And then I just thought maybe this is just who this guy is. And for some people, that might just put a bit of a spanner in the works, especially if you're an Internet Explorer or coach or consultant who's really trying to grow your business and you then get some sort of negative feedback like that. I want to stand here and advise you and say, you know what? Take it, take it as feedback, but make sure you respond. Make sure you don't let that affect how you run your business, and make sure it doesn't affect your mood, because you still have other people that you have to create for and relate to. All right. So, I mean, obviously, for me, we obviously get stuff like that coming our way. Not that we're doing bad things out there, but the more you expose yourself to other human beings, I kid you not, we live in a cancel culture, and everyone is trying to be heard. I was watching yesterday on Netflix how some kids would just call the cops on you just simply because you are good at playing a video game than they are. Can you believe that stuff? Oh man, oh man, oh man. So here it is, my Internet Explorer friend. If you really want to make a strong internet presence or social media presence, then you need to make peace with the fact that you are going to get negative responses from your customers, and it's inevitable because obviously people might be going through stuff. There might be technical issues on your website or with your your consulting, your training, or information that you're putting out there, real human mistakes, and there might just be a few misunderstandings here and there. But what isn't a given is, how you deal with it. You need to deal with negative reviews professionally, okay? Because if you want to grow your business and your personal brand online, and it's inevitable that negative feedback is going to come your way. So let's just get started and look at ways, how as a coach, consultant, or small to medium business owner, you should be able to handle negative feedback, in a professional way. All right. So one thing about reviews is, if they're good, they can be used as user-generated content. But if they're not, just give time for your audience real opinion to actually come through. All right. Let people really tell you what is wrong with the stuff that you're putting out there, because at the end of the day, we might be looking at it from the vantage point of who we are, without seeing how other people actually view the work that we're putting out there. Because at the end of the day, online reviews have actually become an increasingly important concern, especially for small to medium business. No matter how dedicated you are at providing great service, you're eventually going to get some sort of negative review, whichever way. And we even have a product to help you maintain your online reputation. So you can check us out at livelongdigital.com.au and then see what we can do for your online reputation. All right. But how you handle them can make a big impact on your business. So keep in mind that your responses are actually seen by the public just as your reviews are. Okay. So that's why it's essential for you to respond to all reviews, even the critical ones, you know what I mean, in a responsible and professional manner. All right. So let's just maybe first look at why reviews are so important to your business, because your reputation is actually vital, because people do business with those they know, like, and trust. And a lot of people are actually making their decisions based on peer reviews or testimonials that they're seeing, from other people that have used your service, okay? Because maybe this is the first time somebody is encountering your business, or coming across your content. They want to see how other people have gone through it. So you want to make sure that you've got visible testimonials everywhere. And no matter the good ones or the bad ones, let people make their own decision, because your reputation is vital for your business, my Internet Explorer friend. And in some ways, however, online reviews are more, critical for your small business than for larger ones. You know why this is? Because companies that are household names certainly prefer having, positive publicity over any negative publicity out there. So it certainly is a concern if you see so many negative reviews, and if you're not doing anything to cater for that, it would actually be grand opening, grand closing. All right. But however, if you have many loyal customers already, you can actually ask them to then write really good reviews so that you can absorb the bad reviews. But also, you want to make sure that you're not, doing stuff out there that will attract any sort of bad review. So if you're a small to medium business, and you probably don't have that many people that give you testimonials, even a few negative ones can actually have a significant effect on the public perception of your business. And unfortunately, many customers are more likely to write a review when they have a complaint than when they're actually satisfied. Okay, people would tell 11 more people, according to statistics, if they're unhappy, and maybe tell 1 or 2 people if they're happy with the service. So for a small to medium business, that if you mostly satisfy your customers, you'll find it very difficult to deal with a disgruntled customer, especially if they go rogue online. So just as importantly, the average person who goes to maybe McDonald's or maybe Starbucks, they already have a sense of what to expect. So they're not going to look up any reviews before they decide to go to that business. You know why? Because that business has been running for a while. But with a small business like yours and mine, customers feel like they're taking a chance, every time that they engage with you. So they're more likely to check you out online before they actually try you. And I can imagine you're probably cold calling potential clients and hang up in your face, or you're sending out hundreds of emails without getting as much as, hey, thanks for reaching out, and you're wasting thousands of dollars on ad spend without even generating any qualified leads. This might simply be because you haven't got enough reason for people to do business with you. All right. So, at the end of the day, this is what not to do when you see a negative review. Like we saw the review on our Google. It was on Google, My Business. And then I just responded nicely. And I was like, Mr. X, I'm sorry you feel like this. Maybe your situation has changed. I'm definitely going to try and see if we can unsubscribe you. But I've also noticed that you've unsubscribed to our emails, which is what we provide for everybody that's in our email list. All right, so I gave him an opportunity to see that we don't do this on purpose. All right, he came to our website, he requested something, and he engaged with us. All we're doing is automatically following him up. You know what I mean? And maybe his situation has changed, or he was just in a bad mood on that day. So this is what you need to do when you see a bad review, okay? Because at the end of the day, if you don't respond and ignore that review, then people will make their own conclusion, all right? So if you disregard any sort of negative review, especially the negative ones, right? It's never a good idea, all right? This suggests that you aren't concerned about your reputation. This suggests that you don't even care, and that whatever is being complained about is true. So you have the right to remain silent if you choose to actually close your business, all right? But you are innocent until proven guilty, all right? So the that review is making you look guilty, so you need to respond. So do not ignore any bad testimonials out there, because when there's no response, some readers will actually conclude that the customers' comments are accurate. You know why? Because they don't have a frame of reference. They don't have any conflicting information for them to doubt otherwise, all right? And one other thing is, while you're responding, try not to get angry or being defensive, okay? Be very open-minded. Remember, people have an opinion, and their opinion just so happened to be a bad review on your part, okay? So getting angry or defensive actually makes you look guilty. And that's also, if you ever caught by cops, just... Don't be angry or don't try to be defensive, because they're going to try and find out why you're trying to hide away from the truth or whatever it is that they're accusing you of, all right? So getting angry and defensive is a no-no, all right? This is hard, but it's actually important to understand. You don't want, to get into an online war with other people. You know why? Because some people are keyboard warriors. They've got nothing to lose, and you've got a reputation to maintain, okay? So you can't win, and you'll end up alienating a whole lot more potential customers, because the more you speak, the more people start picking a side. That's just how it works. So instead of throwing rocks at that bad review, try and actually encourage people's dreams and justify exactly what is going on there, instead of you alienating that potential customer, because they might just be having a misunderstanding. All right, so you want to respond in a calm and polite manner, no matter how out of line you think the customer is. Because remember, even though we know as business owners that the customer is never right, they're always selfish, always looking out for themselves, and they don't care even if they're returning something that they have used. In their eyes, the customer is always right, and that's the message that they're giving out there. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, don't deny any legitimate criticism, all right? Just accept it, and before you respond at all, make sure the customer doesn't have a valid point. Because if they do, then other people can see through it. It's better to admit when you're at fault than to actually argue, that something is not true when it's not. And basically, once you're in the realm of now talking to your customers and everything else, use that as a coaching moment. Use that as a frequently asked questions moment where you're actually answering and going in, providing value. Remember, we get paid in direct proportion to the value that we bring to the marketplace. And also, the people that are, leaving a bad review or some sort of bad testimonial, they have nothing to lose. All right, so here are the best ways that you can respond to a negative review, just like we did, with our person who left a negative review there. Because listen, I understand and I hear you and I get you. The biggest problem is you exposing yourself, as an internet explorer to other keyboard warriors out there. Because as an entrepreneur, marketing or creating an online sort of reputation is just one aspect of running a successful business. All right, you go from hiring and managing new staff and balancing books, driving growth, and it feels like a constant balancing act where you're pulled in multiple different directions all at once. And at the end of the day, your real goal is just to help your clients. You know what I mean? You don't want to spend as much time as possible, or countless hours responding to negative reviews. You want to spend time changing people's lives and solving people's problems. Half of the time when people leave a bad review, they are probably not aligned to your business, and it is a coachable moment, especially if you're a coach. Carefully consider the nature of that complaint. All right, before you get upset or put all your knickers in a knot, ask yourself if the client actually has a valid point. Because as a business, yes, of course, you can make a mistake. But if you did something wrong, do your best to make amends, all right? And show other people that just in case you make a mistake in the future, there is some person at the end of the line who will make things right. Because that's all that client wants. They don't want your money or anything else. They don't want to bring you down. They just want value for whatever it is that they've paid. So if you've made a mistake, own up to that mistake. And if you did something wrong, just do your best to make it right. Apologize, and if appropriate, offer the customer some sort of a refund and exchange, or some sort of value that caters for the inconvenience that they went through, and thank them for highlighting that problem that they just highlighted. And if you think your customer is out of line, respond with a calm but polite manner, all right? Because some things can be taken so out of context, all right? And say, you can actually say that you're sorry, that he or she had a bad experience, and that you hope they'll give you another chance to get it right. And whatever you do, try and take everything offline and deal with complex issues privately, because some people, like I said, your customers have got nothing to lose. You don't want to expose, your flawed systems or how much you have, processes, because customers don't want to hear that. Customers don't know about funnels. They don't know about processes. They just want their money's worth. That's all they care about. And if you don't give them their money's worth, they will make sure everybody else who comes after them knows what you did. All right. So if it's a complex issue, maybe it's delivery or things of that nature, just deal with it privately. Take it offline. You should always respond to any review, like I said. But however, for things that are involved and technical, when it involves specific transactions or instructions, it's best to resolve these privately. Either send them an email or take it to the inbox, because visitors to your review site don't want to read long, complicated paragraphs. They don't have time for that. And you also want to consider the customer's privacy, whoever is making that complaint, because the more you go into depth with what they did, you are exposing that person, and that might end up really, really wrong, especially legally. It might actually result in defamation. All right. So if you don't have their contact information, invite them to contact you via mail or email, and make sure you follow through with what you promised them. Okay. And if any chance somebody leaves a fake review, report it. Places like Google, Facebook, or whatever it is, they have systems and processes to help you cater for with fake reviews. And some cases you may feel that the review is not only fair, but it's completely unfounded or unjustified. It's possible that a troll or some sort of competitor is simply attacking you without justification. And if you document that this customer never actually bought anything from you or never came to your business, you might actually report this to the review site that you saw that review on. And you can also once again calmly, publicly write that you have no record of the alleged exchange, just so that other people can see that this is unfounded. All right. So, and once you do that, try and get as many positive reviews as possible, because the more positive reviews you have, they will obviously dilute whatever bad reviews that might pop up or that might creep in without you noticing. All right, so here are a few tips for you to actually start attracting positive reviews. This is something that we all should be doing as internet explorers, people that listen to the online prosperity experience. Do work that matters for people who care. Try not to just spray and pray with your marketing. Identify your target audience, clarify your message, and then determine what media you're going to be reaching out to them. Don't just try and bring in anybody and everybody and their dog just because they've got a credit card and blood shooting through their veins. All right. You want to work with people you absolutely love working with. You want to work with people that absolutely respect the work that you're putting in and are not going to be, leaving bad testimonials out there. All right. This is why you need to work with Live Long Digital, so that you can generate hundreds of qualified leads and high ticket leads like clockwork. So you never have to rely on maybe cold calling or emailing just to beg clients to hire you, because you end up attracting the wrong people without the ethos of how you're working, and eventually these people usually leave with a scream, and the scream that they know how to is a negative review, especially on Google, and you don't want that. All right. So the fact is, you can't control what people say about you, but you probably will get a few reviews no matter how good the service is, that you're putting out there. And if you, however, if you consistently attract positive reviews, like I said earlier on, doing work that matters for people who care, this will eventually outshine any of the bad ones that you might be receiving. All right. So I'm just going to give you a few guidelines to help you so you can stack the ratio in your favor. And once you do that, you start, really, really delivering outstanding results for your clients and win their loyalty for life. And these clients will definitely start singing praises either to their family, their friends, colleagues at a barbecue, and even strangers on a bus. Can you imagine that, my Internet Explorer friend? All right. So the first thing you want to do is just be a good human, all right? When people are working with you, you want to make sure you encourage their dreams and you offer great customer service. This is beyond anything, all right? And this may seem obvious, but it's really worth mentioning. Keep in mind that having great products and services isn't identical to maybe offering exceptional customer service. If people come for your coaching, your consulting, your training, your information, your expertise, or you are at a paid speaking gig and you ignore the people that are going to be buying from you, man, you will leave a sour taste in people's mouths, and by the time they jump onto your site or whatever it is, they'll just leave a bad review just so they feel good about themselves. All right. So keep in mind that even if you have good products or services, that's not identical to offering exceptional good customer service. I mean, you need both. Both are important, but however, people are more likely to overlook mistakes if they can see that you're really trying, all right? And make sure that everyone on your team is dedicating to addressing any of these problems that your customers might be facing, all right? And one thing that you need to do is to listen actively. All right, because active listening is a form of listening where you actually learn and take feedback without judgment, and it's well known, in the communication sector there, because it creates advantages for both parties that are involved. So if you want to engage more people on your social media, in your business, just learn to listen without judgment at first, because you don't know where your customer is coming from and you don't know the frame of reference that they have. And when you listen attentively, you literally will be able to deliver outstanding results for them. You know why? Because you are literally delivering on what it is that they've asked you for. People will always tell you what it is that they want, and then you can deliver on that. So whether their comment might seem maybe unfair, or there's information that you can use whenever you're talking to people, it helps you build better relationships if you actually listen. So you want to build your listening skills, and you find that even if you receive a negative feedback, it can actually be valuable for your growth, and you can actually train your staff to listen a whole lot more and effectively, and separate emotions from the real content and the real conversation. All right, so when you listen to your customer, if you see multiple complaints of the same issue, it's actually worth paying attention to that particular thing, because not if so many people are seeing an issue in one thing, so the common denominator is you actually. All right, so you want to make sure that you're looking into that, and just realize that it's not personal. It's never about you. The customer, like I said, is selfish. They're looking out for themselves, and you need to realize that even highly negative responses on your social media aren't personal. It's just because it's not possible for the customer to maybe capture your entire business or your entire persona, with a few online interactions. However, you have to be mindful and stay away from topics that are maybe complex and out of realm of your work, all right? And you don't need to, and you need to maybe, follow business, ethical business and communication practices. That's something that goes without saying, all right? So when you're listening to your customers, realize it's not personal, and actually encourage your customers to leave feedback, whether your physical store, or online, you know what I mean? Because customers are always seeking to be heard, all right? If you are not listening to your customers, they are going to go somewhere else where they can be heard, and it's usually at an online platform that actually allows them to leave reviews. All right, so check your website against all review sites, Yelp, Facebook, Google, or whatever is relevant to your industry, and make sure that you have maybe collected your profile, because whenever somebody is hurt or whenever somebody has a grievance or an issue, they will take it wherever they want to take it. All right, so I understand, like I said, we just received a bad review. No one likes negative reviews, but the effect of life in this digital age, people have and are looking for instant gratification, and if it means leaving a bad review just to be heard, well, so be it. And don't let a few critical or even unreasonable reviews stress you out. Rather, you want to respond to them as calmly as possible, listen to constructive criticism, and then let your ego go in the way, because it's not about you. It's not about how you run your business. It's always about the customer who's making that criticism, all right? And listen to it as constructive criticism, and don't do anything to encourage other bad reviews. You want to do work that matters for people who care. So are you ready to grow your business on social media or online? Because dealing with online interactions means that you're going to be, you should be prepared for customers who express their unhappiness in a public way. Like I said, we just got hit by a negative review, and it prompted me to want to, lay it down for my Internet Explorers and tell you, hey, it's not your fault. All right. However, such events are actually opportunities for your growth. And if you know how to deal with them well, you, my friend, will have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. See, now I've shared several ways that you can deal with negative feedback here. So the next time you have an unhappy customer, just look for ways to apply these tips, and you can change things for the better. I can't wait to see you succeed, my Internet Explorer, and sustainably build and scale your business from 6 figures to 7 figures and beyond, so you can establish yourself as a trusted leader in your industry with a good online reputation. Just jump onto our website, www.livelongdigital.com.au, and see how we can help you maintain an online reputation that's squeaky clean and you can be proud of and take to the bank, literally. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au